Punisher, a vigilante who punishes criminals. But who gave him the right? Why do we love someone like the Punisher? Is he a toxic masculine person? Is Daredevil's ideology better than his? Or is he also breaking the law? Let's find out. Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, is a former Marine Corps and CIA operative. He saw injustice in the system and feared that he might lose his honor, so he returned to his family, only to lose them in a brutal shooting. He lost faith in the government and society and went out on a crusade by killing the ones who hurt others. But he doesn't really want to bring change to society. It's just his personal vendetta against criminals, a vengeance to his grief towards his family. He sees the system as corrupted and thinks that the only way to bring about change is through fear and force. Punisher believes in retributive justice, also known as punitive justice. It's same as the capital punishment we see in our justice system, which is debated to be brutal and is banned in some countries. No matter if you like Punisher or not, you can't deny the fact that he actually does what heroes can do, killing the villain. I mean, don't tell me you don't get frustrated when heroes are about to kill the villain, but then they're like, nah, he's gonna get a second chance. But then the hero turns around and boom, the villain stabbed him in the back. But there's a but, of course. Punisher acts as a judge, jury and executioner, and that's where the problem begins. You see, when an individual takes on these roles, there is a high risk of making mistakes, misinterpreting evidence or acting based on personal biases. We are human beings with emotions, and where emotion comes, logic goes south. Like you won't feel the same level of sympathy for some random guy being murdered compared to someone being related. Punisher has also killed innocent people, either by mistake or just because they get in their ways. For example, he was ready to kill this old man here.
Who was that?
It's just a rat.
We exterminators.
The guys, they half-assed it. Remember my uncle used to tell me that all the time. He fumigated.
Hard work.
Yeah, well, that's all he could get after the war. You know, curse of a soldier.
Ain't that the truth?
You serve.
Some people thinks him as a psychopath who goes around unloading on whoever the fuck he wants.
Wish that's what you think. I'm just some crazy asshole going around unloading on whoever I want to.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think.
That is.
You think you're anything else?
And he has PTSD, which he obviously denies. Punisher has also been associated with toxic masculinity by some critics, which I think is bullshit. It doesn't seem to me that he thinks women like Dina Madani need a man to save them, does he? In fact, he sees her as a potential obstacle who can interfere with his plan. Frank also respects Karen's choices and supports her in her journalistic investigations, offering help without imposing his own sense of justice. He sees her as a partner and ally, not someone who needs rescuing, despite the dangers he faces.
Why do you care so much about Frank Castle?
Look, that might not be important to you, but it is important to me. Because he is not a psycho murderer.
See, I'm also a feminist, but it never crossed my mind. These pseudo-feminists needs to chill. Just because someone wants to help you doesn't mean he thinks you're weak. And why are women using this toxic we don't need help agenda previously used by toxic men? I know, women were being oppressed their whole life. I can understand. But please identify the difference between who genuinely wants to help and who's just insulting. Sorry, got distracted from the topic. Let's go ahead. Now let's talk about Daredevil, a blind lawyer cum vigilante who goes by his legal name Matt Murdock. He spent his childhood in the St. Agnes orphanage, where he grew up learning the principles of the Bible. Matt was trained by Stick, a blind martial arts master, who taught him how to harness his heightened senses and develop his fighting skills. He is committed to upholding the law and protecting the innocent. His core values are biblical teachings. Christians believe that everyone will be forgiven by God, even the most horrendous criminals, which I find ridiculous, to be honest, and I do not need to clarify. He became a lawyer because he initially believed rules and laws were crucial for preventing crime, but later realized they weren't enough to eliminate evil.
How did you just do that? I'm a really good lawyer.
This led him to use his abilities to combat evil in Hell's Kitchen. Pretty hypocritical, if you ask me, because he's going against the same law he's standing by. Daredevil not killing a man like Fisk, despite the chances, has often been the reason for more innocent people to suffer.
I will never stop hunting Karen Page or Foggy Nelson. I will tell the world who you really are.
The no-kill rule, while noble in principle, can become a source of conflict when applied to situations where the stakes are high and the villain's continued existence poses a significant threat to society. While I do agree that first or low-level offenders should be given a second chance, but we can't just go around giving more chances to habitual criminals. Supporting Daredevil is kind of like supporting the law, but then another question arises. Is our justice system fair? There are many times when our justice system fails and punishes the innocent. The famous example of this is the Joe Aridi case. The man was mentally disabled and was falsely accused. He was still smiling when he got executed because he didn't know anything about what was happening. Although these cases are not high, they are not rare either. The primary focus of the law should be to rehabilitate the criminal if possible. If someone is willing to change, then is it really necessary to punish them? Prison is a shitty place and it might turn criminals into more gruesome ones. So, who is right? The way New York City is depicted in the show, where the entire city is governed by a man like Wilson Fisk, where the system fails miserably, it does seem like Punisher would be much better vigilante than Daredevil. A real life example of this would be Mexico, where the place is run mainly by mafia cartels and the law is pretty useless, but eventually no one is right. Both of their ideologies are extremes, and we need a hero with a perfect balance of both ideology. A hero who gives second chance to those who deserve, but is also willing to kill criminals like Wilson Fisk. What's your opinion on this? Do you think that we need a Punisher, or you support Daredevil's ideology more? Let me know in the comments. By the way, do you like anime? Watch my previous video on that topic, where I covered some of the reasons I hate animes. Please share this video and subscribe if you like what I do. Goodbye.